Bracket the Yahawah, Bracket the Yahawashi, Bracket the Yahawah, Bracket the Yahawashi, Bracket the Yahawah, Bracket the Yahawashi, call log Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Rakakadash. This is Ayashatad from Men of Valor Las Vegas camp. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to the Akim out there teaching and preaching the truth, to the Salakia men, women, and children listening and learning, and to the Bahasham double dot, the house of David, the 144,000 elect men, and the 1/3, Lord willing, be of that number. This is Ayashatad coming to you with a lesson, all right, and it's going to be titled, Israel, the law is in effect. Come back to your power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. All right. So the law, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Bible are in effect. All right, for the Israelites. All right, and the Israelites alone. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the lesson. We're going to start off in the book of John. St. John, Salakia, and it's going to be chapter 14 and verse 15, and it reads, if ye love me, keep my commandments. All right, so if you love Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, or who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ, all right, you will keep the commandments that are set forth in this Bible. All right. So you so-called Christians out there that say you love God or Jesus, all right, are you keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments that are written in this Bible, even to the best of your ability? And most of you are not. Okay. Continuing on, let's go ahead. And you can find those laws, statutes, and commandments. And actually, there's more than there's 613 laws in its entirety. All right. But you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your abilities and following on the 10 commandments. All right. And the 10 commandments alone. All right. If you can at least attempt to do that, but most of you don't. All right. And you can go to the book of Leviticus to see all the laws, statutes, and commandments starting in Genesis. All right, you can believe it's Genesis, Salakia. Let me get it right quick, and then we'll continue on with the lesson. All right, the laws, statutes, and commandments set forth in Genesis. Salakia, set forth in Exodus. All right, set forth in Exodus. So those things right there are things that you could keep. All right, and then going all the way into Leviticus. Okay. But without further ado, let's continue on with the scriptures. All right. So we're going to go to the book of Exodus, and we're going to go to chapter 19. Chapter 19, and we're going to start at verse 3, and it reads, and Moses went up unto the power, and Yahawah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. Jumping down to verse 5. Jumping down to verse 5. Now therefore, if thou wilt obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, when ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. All right. And the reason why is because we're entering into a covenant with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right. So Yahawah commanded Moses to tell the children of Israel, all right, that he is going to enter a covenant with us. All right, continuing on to verse 6, and it reads, "And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel." All right, so Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi commanded Moses to go down and speak to the children of Israel once again. And we entered the covenant with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And I'm going to continue on and read verse 7. And it reads, "And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Yahawah hath spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahawah." All right. So we entered that covenant with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right. Those laws, statutes, and commandments that are set forth, they are set forth for Israel. All right. He said, tell the children of Israel. Yes, Lakia. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. And it reads, "And the power spake all these words, saying, I am Yahawah, thy power, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." Verse 3, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image." All right, so no false idols, no crosses, no nothing, no graven images, no worshiping the posters that you made of Yahawashi. All right, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. All right, so nothing. Continuing on, verse 5. Once again, this is Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them." So you shouldn't bow down to those images, or you shouldn't serve those other gods. All right, whether it be Christianity, Catholicism, Buddhism, or whatever. All right, shall serve no other God, Israel. And continuing on, "For I, Yahawah, thy power, am jealous power." All right, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Yahweh says he is jealous. All right, continuing on, "Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." All right, because you hate Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi if you do not want to obey the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability right now. If you don't want to hearken unto these words that from Apostle to Har on down, and the fruits are telling unto you through the power and will of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you hate them. All right, continuing on to verse 6. Once again, this is Exodus chapter 20, verse 6. And it reads, "And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments." All right, so we are to keep the commandments of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It says that right here in the header of Exodus chapter 20. It says the 10 commandments of Israel. All right, so that way you know the commandments are for Israel. All right, continuing on, verse 7. And it reads, "Thou shalt not take thy name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, thy power, in vain, for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain." All right, so you shouldn't take Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's name in vain. All right, you shouldn't say certain things in name in vain. All right, that's as much as I'm going to go into that. Verse 8, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." All right, so remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And what's the Sabbath day? All right, The Sabbath day is the new moon. All right, it's the beginning of the Sabbath day. And continuing on, verse 9, and it's going to say, it reads, 6 days shalt thou labor, and now all thy work. It's like 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. All right, so 6 days you should work. All right, but the seventh day is the Sabbath. All right, and the calendars that are in effect right now are no more than pagan holidays and stumbling blocks set up for Israel. All right, set up so we're not worshiping our power correctly on the right times, in the right season, in the right days. All right, to obey the law, statutes, and commandments that are set forth. All right, there's multiple videos out there telling you of the Sabbath day. Okay, continuing on, of Yahawah thy power, in it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. All right, so nobody is supposed to do anything on the Sabbath day. We're not supposed to do anything but rest and give praise to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. All right, it is unlawful. Continuing on to verse 11, and it reads, for in 6 days Yahawah made heaven, Yahawah made heaven and earth, and and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. All right, so Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi took a rest on the seventh day. All right, if the power ordained that day to be holy, then that's what we're supposed to do and keep it to the best of our abilities here in our captivity. All right, continuing on. Wherefore, Yahawah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. All right, and he made that day holy unto everybody and everything of Israel. All right, and ultimately everybody will understand that and will obey it. Continuing on, verse 12, and verse 12 reads, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahawah thy power giveth thee. All right, so you to respect your parents, your mother and father, that earthly mother and father that brought you into this world. All right, you show them honor and show them respect. All right, for everything that they are allowed to do for you through the will and power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It is a commandment. Continuing on, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal. All right, so you shouldn't kill anybody. You shouldn't go out and kill anybody for anything that is not just. All right, in this law. All right, that's the easiest way to say it. Thou shalt not commit adultery. All right, there's a difference between adultery and idolatry. Adultery, you shouldn't sleep with your neighbor's, another man's wife. Another man's wife. You shouldn't do that. All right, there is no acceptance in that. All right. And then verse 15, once again, thou shalt not steal. You shouldn't have to steal for anything, because Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will provide whatever you need. And if you don't have it and Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi didn't give it to you, then you don't need it. All right. Continuing on to verse 16, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. So you shouldn't lie on your neighbor. All right. You shouldn't lie. And who's that neighbor? The neighbor is being you, Israel. All right, you shouldn't lie on your brother or sister, all right? You shouldn't do those things, because these are the commandments of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Continue on. Thou shalt not covenant thy neighbor's house. All right, thou shalt not covenant thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservants, nor his maidservants, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that thy neighbor's. All right, so you shouldn't want anything of your neighbors and do anything to get it and be what's the word I'm looking for? Lustful after it. All right, that's the easiest way that I can explain it. You shouldn't always want it and continuously try to get it and continuously try to plot. All right, better word that I was looking for, a plot for it. Okay, and we know this, and you know and understand these things. Let's go to the book of Matthews. All right. Salakia, book of Matthews. And it's going to be book of Matthews. It's going to be chapter 5 and verse 17. And it reads, and this is Yahawashi speaking because it is in red. All right. And it reads, think not that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. All right. So Yahawashi did not do away with the law. He tells you in the New Testament, all right, that the law he's come to fulfill. All right, so that means the law, statutes, and commandments are still in effect, as this video is titled, Salakia. All right, it's still in effect. Let's go to the book of Mark. All right, book of Mark is going to be chapter 7. Chapter 7, and it's going to be verse 7. And it reads, Salakia, howbeit in vain do thy worship me teach of doctrine the commandments of men. All right. So most of you so-called Christians, you teach doctrine and do the commandments of men, holidays, feast days, birthdays, whatever it is, you do the commandments of men. All right. You are not focused on the law, statutes, and commandments that are in effect. All right. And that had set forth for Israel by Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, all right, given unto Moses to give to the people of Israel, all right. Continuing on, verse 8, for laying aside the commandments of the power, ye hold the traditions of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such things ye do. All right. So you're doing all the things that man does and not taking word and understanding of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi that he set forth for the children of Israel. All right. The 10 commandments of Israel. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi told you right there. Those are our commandments, our law, statutes, and commandments that we are to follow. Okay. Go to Colossians, and go to chapter 2 and verse 8, and it reads, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the Salakia, after the rudiments of the world, and not after a Mashiach. All right. So you're following the ways of man and not of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and the law, statutes, and commandments he set up for who? Israel. Okay. He set them up for us, Israel. All right. And you know this because it says the commandments of Israel. Okay. Go to the book of Matthews once again. And it's going to be Matthews chapter 22. It's going to be chapter 22 and verse, let's go to verse 36. And it reads, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Great commandment in the law. And this is Yahawashi. He answered, Yahawashi said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahawah Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Verse 38, this is the first and the great commandment. Verse 39, and the second is love. The second is like unto it. Unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. All right. So love Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. And verse 40, on these two commandments hang all the laws of the prophets. All right. So all these laws, statutes, and commandments hang on these two commandments. All right. So Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi once again has told us that these laws, statutes, and commandments are what we're supposed to do. All right. And they're given unto who? They're given unto Israel. Okay. Let's go back into the book of Mark. Book of Mark, and it's going to be chapter 7. Okay. Chapter 7, and it's going to be verse 8. Salakia is going to be verse 9, and it reads, and he said unto them, full well ye rejoice the commandments of the power, that ye may keep your own traditions. All right. So if we keep our own traditions, keep our laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability in this captivity, we will be better off. Those laws, statutes, and commandments, the 10 commandments, go into the book of Leviticus, and all those commandments in there to the best of your ability. All right. You start with not eating abominable foods, not sleeping with another man's wife, not having line up someone, and so forth. All right. You try everything within your power to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Okay. And once again, let's go to Matthew's. And then I'm going to go ahead and close out. It's going to be Matthew's 5:17. And it reads once again, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. All right. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has come to fulfill on his second coming, and he has given us these laws, statutes, and commandments that we may fulfill these laws to the best of our ability. All right. To the best of our ability. One last scripture on here. Salakia, two last scriptures. It's going to be, once again, the book of John. All right. And it's going to be chapter 14 and verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments. All right. So if you love Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, keep his commandments to the best of your ability. Laws, statutes, and commandments. All right. With that, I'm going to close out. I want to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there across the world, the confusion of faces, men, women, and children listening and learning, and especially the Bahasham Double Dud, the house of David, the 144,000 elect men to hopefully be the number of. Once again, this is Ayah from Men of Valor, Las Vegas camp. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom.